Ellie. Hey, welcome. It's Sunday morning and we're talking about crazy shit. Remember, this is the Creative Zoom. God damn it. And the Creative Zoom wouldn't have happened without the amazing people on Angelspit's Patreon, several of which I am joined by now, where we will talk about rock and angst. So jump on Angelspit's Patreon and help me keep funding my synth habit. That was a good spiel. Also, follow Angelspit on Twitch because you should. We're also co-streamed by the Illuminati, and we talk about a lot of Illuminati secrets, and that includes the truth about UFOs. If you want your music dark and non-stop, definitely follow MTV TV because it's the tits. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm Australian and I don't give a fuck. And finally, there's a gig on Friday, and it's going to be very experimental and interesting, and we're launching a new Angelspit video, and I'm going to be joined by a whole bunch of crazy people. Crazier than the people who are here. Actually, not crazier than the people who are here. And also, we can there's a Zoom, so you can jump on the Zoom and hang out in the Zoom. I want to talk about promotion. I mentioned before, Sound and Shadows is a new Facebook group, and it's really excellent. And there's a lot of musicians talking about musician stuff. And it's very interesting. Remixes, DJs, all sorts of things. It's great. But one thing that's come up constantly is promotion. And everything is definitely unmuted. Why, yes. Yes, Carl, it is. If you were a movie and you were releasing your movie, it's not uncommon that they will spend the same amount of money on the movie than they will on promotion. They spend a lot of money on promotion. Bands don't. And it's really interesting how bands, and I'll just mention, if you're watching on the ether, please forgive my background, I've just moved. And maybe it's all the red fumes that are driving me a bit high right now. Bands don't do a lot about promotion, and maybe it's because bands don't know how to. And today I want to throw it out, and I want to just open up, and we'll talk a bit about promotion because it's really important. That I'm assuming you're watching this, and I'm assuming that you're here because you want people to hear your music, and for you to get your music to people through the vast, thick digital noise. You need to do promotion. If anybody has a question about promotion, shoot, or I'll just keep spilling. Okay, I'll keep spilling. But if you have a question, just put your hand up. Julius, you always have excellent questions. I've grown lazy. I'm just used to answering your questions.
Yeah, I know. Not today.
So it's interesting that we talked about Instagram a little bit recently and how banal it is, stupid it is, and that's fine. People want short, stupid videos. That's great. If there's some way that you can make your music fit into that, that's great. Go for it. I think remixing is a really good way to get your face in someone else's face, because what you're doing is, obviously your remix is going to be played to other people, and they're people in an already established fan base, but you're also going to be you're also forming a relationship with another band, and sometimes it's a swap, sometimes it's a gratis take it kind of situation, but that relationship with bands are really important. And another thing is is live streaming as well. And I actually think that I've done quite a few live streams, and I think the best way to do it is when you do a live stream, take the best track from your half hour or 45-minute set and push that, because that's what people have the bandwidth for. 3 or 4 minutes is pushing it in this 30-second, 15 seconds of bandwidth kind of lifestyle that we're in now. And that's another really good thing about music video clips as well. I mean, like, if you've got a half-decent live stream, cut other random pieces into it and put the original track audio under it and turn that into a video clip. Pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing is the only way I know how to do this. I mean, then you can do paid promotion and stuff like that as well. As much as I fucking hate Facebook, paid promotion is it's actually the most economical way of doing promotion. PR companies are great, but the thing about a PR company is there's no guarantee. A PR company cannot guarantee that if you send them, a blurb and a press release and a track, that it's going to get reviewed, and it's going to get reviewed well, or it's even going to get looked at. And on that, the ability to write a blurb, this is so fucking boring, and I apologize, but promotion is really fucking boring. It's just not fun. The ability to write a blurb, like a press release, like a high energy, wow, you need to get excited about this, is really important. And, you'll say, I'm a musician, I hate doing that. But remember, your brain has the ability of getting something abstract and turning it into something cool, because that's what musicians and artists do. So for you to take a press release or a piece of news and turn it into something interesting for someone is not a big step. It's not a big, you're using the same brain meat, basically. You remember that with Bandcamp, when people buy from you on Bandcamp, remember that they submit their emails. And remember that you can use those emails to start sending and pushing other things like merch or up-and-coming stuff. People ultimately want free stuff. So if you send here is a free single. In fact, here's a pitch. So you've got your first video track you've made, your first video clip. You're going to pimp the shit out of that on YouTube and everything else. And you're going to, every single place you go, you're going to say, go to the Bandcamp and download this for free. Download it for free. Take the single for free. Because you're getting their email. And you can either send them emails via Bandcamp email, or you can pull it all into MailChimp or something like that. And then you can start building your audience. And you don't want to send them stuff more than once a month. It's just little things like this, and this is horribly fucking boring admin shit that if you want people to do this, you gotta pay the piper, as they say. I don't know why, because the piper will take your children or something. I don't know. And also have a plan, and then I'm going to throw this open to questions because I hate talking about this so much. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a rollout plan. And so there is a rollout plan from the 80s, which was the single every month kind of thing. But they only did 3 singles. And they'd send out a single 1 month before the album dropped. Then when the album dropped, they'd send out another single at the same time. And then a month later, or maybe 2 months later, they'd do another single. I have found that the time it takes for stuff to seep into the consciousness is about a month to 2 months. So you might even make that once every 2 months. A plan is so mind-bogglingly important. A plan with dates. with executable, deliverable dates, because you will know what's going on. The other people who you are working with to roll this thing out will know what's going on, and you will know what to be telling your audience. So as you're leading up to it, you know, and my advice with this is, you know, in the merch, if you saw the merch Blipvert I gave a breakdown of roughly how long the deliverables are, like a CD. Like if you're printing a CD, you might want to start, you know, you have to start really 3 months out, because it's about 4 to 6 weeks to print a CD. Jesus, this is so boring, and I apologize. So it's the same with your publicity. Your publicity is moving with your manufacturer, because, you know, that's how shit works. And I've always said Kickstarters are fantastic, because people are used to Kickstarters. They're used to the concept of a Kickstarter, and you started building an audience with Bandcamp. You started building an audience with Facebook, etc. You may have started building an audience with remixes as well. So somebody asked me something, because life's hard.
It's not a question, but there is this wonderful example. There's this awesome German gothic metal band, Lord of the Lost, that I really like. Yes, I love them. And they are about to drop their next album. And the promotion is it's insane. It's crazy. And they work with a lot of mystery. They started with a very suspenseful short trailer. Not much music, just some chants or something, and started selling like T-shirts with a single symbol on them, and it was crazy. The merch shop it burned. It literally burned. And yeah, the people were really hyped. You could see it on Instagram, on Facebook, and I think it was the mystery that made this good.
All right.
I don't know if anybody has followed this.
Yeah.
This campaign. Yes.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. It's really sweet.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna do a really quick. Hold on a minute. While I'm doing this, if somebody can jump on Facebook and tell me what their audience is, how many people like their page. Somebody else jump on Instagram, tell me the same thing. I want to know how big they are. And it's not telling me the monthly views. Fuck you. Come on, you bastard. Okay, they have 180,000 monthly plays on Spotify, which means they're a big band.
Yes.
So I can probably guess what's going on with Instagram and everything else. So that means this band has a budget.
Yeah.
And just yell out those numbers when you hear them. So what I want to know is, how can we brainstorm something, if you want, for a band that does not have 180,000 Spotify plays a month? And how can you, starting from where we are here, itty bitty bands, what can we do to inventively and coolly roll out eventually an album? And I'm going to make the assumption that we're going to be playing to, we're going to do single released with the album, and then another single 2 months or so after.
Oh, I mean, take advantage of MTV TV.
Yes, excellent. Oh, I see a hand. Tanner, what are your thoughts? Tanner, I just lost you.
I highly suggest that are small. I highly, if you are small, have that will guide you, that will teach you, You're going to want to surround yourself with people who are doing big things. You need to constantly be inspired, okay? Also, you need to take a risk. Don't be afraid to put 100 on an ad. Don't be afraid to put 30 on an ad. It does not matter how many followers you have. It matters how many people you reach. Seek to reach big people. Do the big thing. I'm done speaking.
Good. Okay. So let's you cut out a bit in the beginning there, but I got the gist. So Julius, do you want to throw in, and then I want to mix around. I want to talk about what just got spoken about.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that actually the teasing thing, it's what I've done before, and I think it's also a very good method for tiny bands with not with tiny to non-budget.
Tell me more.
For example, you don't have to have like a music video or something. You can as well make like an audio trailer and put it on a video with some stock footage or something, and show the titles of the sample tracks you're playing and promote this.
Okay, that's good. I want to really quickly. Hold on, Alex. All right. I want to circle back to. I want to come back to you, Julius. I want to circle back to something Tanner said, which is really important. That aiming at these ads and putting the money where your mouth is, because this is very important. Professionals put money into advertising, and there is nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people go, that's not indie enough for me. But I'm telling you, like, if you're getting reviewed by some huge magazine, you're paying for that, and that starts at $800. It to get in the door starts $500 to $800, often $1,200. If you're being played on a radio station, the gatekeepers who pimp the playlist to those DJs, it's the same thing. It's a lot of money. So Tanner, and further, because I still see your hand up, I just want to make sure you know your demographic. Make sure you are tagged at similar bands. Make sure that your genre words and all of the words that you are tagging are hitting that market. I need to get my shit together to learn Facebook again, because every time I learn how to do it, it changes. And I fucking hate that. It drives me insane. Really does. You know. Anyway, I'm done. Alex, I see your hand.
Yes, I don't have very much experience, but the thing I know is that you should put your link everywhere where it doesn't seem out of place. Like, I have friends wondering why back then my stupid MySpace page got more plays than theirs, and it was because I put my stupid link in every other profile so everyone could find it easily. I think many people forget that they should make it as easy as possible to get to your stuff. And also you should think really about how you tag your stuff, because this can be really important in this day and age where everything is found via algorithms and so. I think these basics are free, and everyone should do them before doing everything else. That's all.
That's great. And I'll pick up on that, and I haven't forgotten you, Julius. I'll pick up on that and say that your landing page has to be real simple and really easy, and your landing page might be your video. It might be a link to the YouTube thing that you're pushing, and in the description of that is your website and your Bandcamp, which goes into a further conversation about, I still think websites are really important. I think they're really important because you know, I think I'm crap at this. I think I'm really shit at promotion. Because everything I'm talking about right now, it's like, God, I have to work on that. Yeah, it just has to be, boom, right there. There's the video. There it is. Simple, go. Julius, can you remind me? You were talking about video teasers and stuff.
Yes, video teasers, not a sense of teasing a music video, but teasing an EP or an album with a
Okay.
video.
Here's a question. That's basically a commercial. So what I want to know is, how important do you think video clips are? As a watcher, and also somebody who's in a band that is where we're at, how important do you think a video clip is?
Very much.
Yeah?
It's a very important medium, I think.
If anybody...
Even-
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just want to add, even if it's only about music. Yeah.
If anybody thinks it's not important, I want to know. And also, because the other thing I'm questioning here is, you know, the importance of these ad teaser things. Like, I think they're really important. I think it's, you know, if you're going to buy a new car, it's an ad for a car. It's an ad for a product. Oh, we're talking about products. Yeah, but hey, man, this is marketing. If anybody has thoughts about that, if anybody has thoughts on, I mean, like, my only thoughts is keep it short, keep it concise, lay down the who, what, where, when, and why quickly, and make it as exciting and bam, so bam, bam, bam as you possibly can. Use lots of really tight edits, and whatever music is behind you, make sure it's exciting and it's upbeat and it's doing this. And if possible, cut on the beat. Do your edits on the beat. If you can. But I want to know more. Mark, I see your hand. Go. Ask me something.
It was another question. It was kind of on what you were saying. I very recently started messing with TikTok. Well, watching videos on TikTok. But I did come across a video of a guy doing a short live performance of, I assume, one of his songs. I didn't look into him super deep, but I think the idea of watching some TikToks and formatting your teaser like that might be a good idea. Because TikToks tend to be short, so they're short and punchy.
I totally agree. I think that's a great idea.
The latest ones I've seen, the band logo, and it seems like the more simple the logo, the more memorable. Don't make it too busy. Along with the teaser is like, okay, now I'm remembering the logo, remembering the band, and that's enticing me to find the rest of their stuff. I think they're very important.
Yeah, I agree. I think also get your face in it. I believe that a human face is the most important thing to sell an album. It's so amazingly important. And if you are doing a talking head during your ad, your TikTok, whatever, people are going to gel with it, because it's like people go, oh, human, click. Somebody, this is where you're gonna bail me out because I've run out of things to say.
May I jump in?
Please.
About the face thing, I think it's about an emotional relationship you make with your audience and the audience makes with you, and that's easier when you actually see a real face in front of you.
Yeah.
Making a relationship with your audience. Speaking of that, I think it's also important how to communicate with the people, and important to involve them. Maybe ask questions and respond to comments.
Oh yeah, take a poll. That's actually really good, and it's also really important that I see your hand, Alex. when you are doing something like this, and you're doing, hey, I'm talking to you, you're talking to one person. Like on our screen right now, we see 8 people, including ourselves, but I'm talking to you, not them, because they're bastards. Don't worry about them. I don't like them. I like you. And if you deliver to one person, I'm sorry, if you deliver to one person, you've got to make it personal. And when you look at a camera, you fix your focus about a centimeter behind the lens. So let's try that now. Let's try that. I want you to look into the camera. That's it. That's it. That's it. Fix your focus a centimeter behind the lens. That's it. And when you don't, and another thing is don't blink. So when you do your cuts, blink. Movie star trick, don't blink. Alex, I want to hear your voice, Alex.
Yes, I just remembered that the band Death Grips, which has become really big in recent years, they did for their first album that they released stems for remixing at the site. So on their site you could download stems for their songs, like not everything, but just vocals and drums and synths. And I don't know how much it contributed, but they have become really big, and I thought that's a really cool idea.
Something like that, where you're sending people like, this is really interesting, because if somebody does a remix for your, for a track that you're about to release, actually that's a really good idea. Release the acapella before you release the single, so no one knows what the fuck it sounds like. And then let people virally go, hey, okay, I did my remix. I've got to tell you, doing remixes, like, because the next one I went to is, if you then say, I'm going to list, as the artist releasing this, I'm going to list all of my favorites. That's a great idea, but there's a lot of work involved in that. And that's the other real clincher about promotion and publicity, is that there's more work in it than you think. And excuse me, it's shitty work. It's really fucking boring. It's like accounting. Yeah. But I think it's a great idea. It's a bloody good idea. So it looks like what we're trying to do now is actually roll out some ideas of what we can do. And as I said before, start throwing down free downloads from Bandcamp and all of these other things. Diana, I see your hand. So you can start getting your audience together, so you can start building your audience. You can start building your mailing lists. Diana, I'm going to throw it to you now. Go.
Okay. First of all, you were talking about CD production and whatnot. With Bandcamp, it can be on demand. Do you have a certain amount of actual physical product that you keep with you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, okay. How do you determine how much to have? I mean.
Okay. On-demand printing is good, and if you haven't had a chance yet, please check out the Blip Vets I did on merch, because I cover a lot of this. On-demand printing is fantastic, but problem number one is that the turnaround time is not as demand as you might want, and the price point is not attractive. My advice is, if you're going to get CDs made, you're going to get at least 300 made, 250. A lot of places have a 250 minimum. Get 250 made. But you have to make sure you can actually sell those fuckers. And I'm going to be really honest that I don't know if Angelspit is going to be printing any more CDs after the next release or two. Because people don't have CDs. They don't have CD players. the liar, Mike's from Basement Labs. He thinks that CDs and DVDs are going to have a retro thing. I don't know if that will happen or not. But he's kind of got his finger on the pulse a bit, and there is a lot of hip places that are starting to do CD manufacturing again. I will say, I don't believe our demographic gives a flying fuck about retro. They don't care about vinyl, and I will argue anybody with comprehensive numbers who says, "Oh yeah, press vinyl." Don't press vinyl. If you have however many people say they're going to buy vinyl, divide it by 10. Because it's hard to sell that shit. And it's extremely expensive to press that shit. Yeah, on demand. And I say do it in bulk. And I say that this is the great thing about a Kickstarter, is you're going to find out how many copies you need. And, you know, because we're not signed, and even if we were signed, nobody does physical distribution of a CD anymore, and frankly, it's not worth it. Show me a shop that people walk into to buy, especially now, to buy fucking CDs. You know, people's cars don't even have them in them. I didn't finish that thought. People's cars don't have CDs in them. The actual CD player itself is becoming a difficult thing, and I do see your hand, Tanner. That's why I think a Kickstarter is such a bloody excellent thing, because you can get the numbers you need, and you might end up, the Kickstarter might say, oh, you've sold 100 CDs. Double the number. So print 200. And it might take you 3 years to get rid of that 200, but and the cool thing about a CD is if you get them made in bulk like that, because they're so cheap, you can bundle a CD and a t-shirt together for $20, which is what I do. You know, down the line when shit doesn't sell. Or you could tee up with some other band and say, look, I'll send you 10 of my CDs for 10 of your CDs. Tanner, hold on, did I answer your question, Diana, or was that just Carl going blah, 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 blah? Because I do that.
I mean, what were your thoughts, like,
my immediate...
how much do you...
Go ahead.
On-demand printing versus what you keep in store.
All right. Okay, so when I find out how many numbers I need from the Kickstarter or the pre-sales, which are so important, I will print usually 20% more. If I'm going on tour, I'll double the number. But usually about 20%, maybe 50% more, knowing that they will sell over the next period. And that's the same with T-shirts and absolutely everything.
Right.
So if I have larger bulk numbers, I don't use on-demand printing. So that means that I'm going to go to my T-shirt guy who's going to print, I'll just say 50 T-shirts because it's a number. He'll print me 50 T-shirts. And then I have the T-shirts sitting up there. And I have several styles of T-shirts sitting up there. And always the thing, I'm sorry, I'm just not on fucking pitch ever. The thing to remember is that there's an envelope curve. There's a curve for sales. When you first release something, you're going to peak like this. Then it's going to taper down, it's going to level out, and it's going to fade off. And in that peak, roughly speaking, in that peak time, you will sell the same that you do in this time here. So I only say if your pre-sale said 50 T-shirts, print 75, I usually go 50% higher because I don't have the space to have shit lying around. And if it comes time for you to do this and you ever want advice, fucking contact me or bring it up here and we'll talk through it. because I've always had the thing is I'll double the numbers and it ends up sitting there. And that's the problem with CDs as well, is that although I've got them done in, I've done them in bulk, I can send them out bam, bam, bam. I'm not saying send me 10 on demand place or send me another 10 on demand place. It's just go, 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 go. They're always here. But the problem is, I have boxes of 100 CDs, and I've got another fucking 300 CDs coming like this week. I don't know why I did that. But it's interesting that people still do buy CDs, and a good example of that is May Grades. She does live shows. She sells them. She sells CDs still. So yeah. Tanner's hand was up. Tanner's hand's down. So yeah, I say don't do on demand, and because the other thing is that if you get them done bulk, instead of saying $5 or $10 per item, you're only for the actual manufacturer price, you're paying $2 or $3. Like with t-shirts, it can be $4 or $5 if you get them done in bulk. And he's my local guy. He's here in LA. But if you get them on demand, you could be spending, 10 or $15 to get 1 or 10. Doesn't make sense. Tanner, go. All right, your hand's down. Don't go. If anybody, you're welcome to go.
All right.
Go.
My next thing is that, as an independent artist, you have to get over fear of yourself, fear of success, because the audience can fucking smell that shit, okay? They smell it in you. Also, your message of your music. When I listen to Angelspit, their message is like to be free and create your own shit, okay? I resonate with that. So what is your message, okay? What is the message your music is putting out? People aren't gonna deal with bullshit, okay? They want that fire of creation. You have to spread that fire of creation. So do not be afraid of yourself. Do not be afraid of the audience. Don't even have doubt into your head when you make that ad, okay? You have a value to your message if your message is valuable. And if you don't know your message, then you don't know yourself. And I'm done speaking.
Turner, I really love your energy. And I'm going to say as a joke, and this is a complimenting you joke, I want to get you a pulpit because you need to preach. Like, seriously, I'm not taking the piss. Your energy's great. I want to come back to that. So you remind me about truth. Remind me about who you are. There's something I want to talk about there. Diana, I see your blue hand.
For promotions, just the importance of consistent branding across all platforms.
Okay, yeah.
I wish Cataclysmic was part of this one today. She helps create a brand, creates design, creates a, on your web, have the same brand name on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, the logo, but consistent branding across all platforms, even email, that people can recognize you and then find the rest of your stuff. Probably Carl can expand on that better than I could.
Okay, there are two really... Oh, God, Julius. Hold on a minute, man. Hold on. Keep the thought, write it down. You and Tanner have just brought up something. Okay, firstly, to know yourself and constant branding. And this is actually something I really publicly have problems with my image. I'll talk about this. Firstly, you'll notice the red behind me. That red is Pantone 186, and that is it's called Chicago red, but it's actually Angelspit's color. So Pantone 186 is Angelspit's color. My coffee percolator is also Pantone 186, and we were about to buy an oven in Pantone 186. But we just decided, because the wife also likes red, and she's pretty close to 186, which is kind of sexy. And this speaker, that's Pantone 186. Actually, that's a tiny bit blue, but it's that dirty blood red. But it's bright and beautiful. So yes, your color, your corporate colors go everywhere with you. The font you use, my God, typography is so important. It's so important. It's so fucking important because I actually think the colors and the typography mean more than the words they're actually saying out, because those colors and typography are saying something psychological to people. Thank you, Tanner. So what I want to talk about is, and I had this conversation with Brian the other day, who's on Space Couch today at 12 LA time, but we're going to jump over to MTV TV, but feel free to jump over to Space Couch because it's fucking awesome. And I'll use Brian as an example. I hope he doesn't mind. If he does, he'll yell at me. And you know how Brian's going to yell at you, don't you? Man, what are you doing? And now that's funny because you got the joke, because Brian is he is so well marketed that you can imitate him. Think about this. And I don't mean to do anything disrespectful, but I was talking to Brian about, because Brian's just started a Patreon, so definitely check out the Gossicles Patreon. That, like Tanner said, who are you? What does your audience perceive you as? And it's really hard doing this because I don't believe you can do it for yourself. Buddha has this crazy idea, one of Buddha's many crazy ideas, and it's not Buddha, it's Buddha. His name's Buddha. His first name's actually James. Jimmy Buddha. I met him a few thousand years. He's, g'day, I'm Jimmy. Jimmy Buddha. G'day, Buddha. How are you? Nah, Jimmy. Or Jim. Or Jimbo. The random looks I'm getting right now are great. Carl, shut up. You're offending a quarter of the world's population. So Buddha has this crazy idea that there are three versions of you. There is the you that you see yourself as, which sometimes isn't a very good version of you, and you got to work at that. There is the you that other people see you as, and there's the you that you actually are. And in the situation of marketing, we're going to be looking at, thanks, Diana. We're going to be looking at the you that other people perceive you as. Because I believe it is best, mixed with the you that you actually are, but it's best to be selling yourself as you. And, you might want to work that a little bit, but, like, for example, when I was doing this exercise with Brian, I was saying, okay, manic, crazy, friendly, lovable, super high energy, computer games, and blippy blip noises. 8-bit blippy blip noises. There you go. That's the Gossicles right there. And gasoline invertebrate is kind of the same thing, but darker. And you need to figure out who that is for you. And the way you do that is you have to talk to somebody who knows you, who knows your art, who knows your music, who knows your presentation. And on a personal note, I used to do everything with makeup and I'd get done up and da-da-da-da-da. I don't anymore because I felt that was presenting something that was not reachable and was not, that people couldn't just talk to. And the further I go down this road, the more artists I meet, the more I understand that approachability and realness is everything. Because marketing and all that shit is important, but keeping our tribe going is the most important thing for me. So I will present myself on a Sunday morning with all this crap, being Carl, who swears a bit too much, has a bit of a stutter, and doesn't really give a fuck. And I'm not really sure how that how much of that is when you listen to Angelspit, you go, yeah, I know what this guy is. Because that's the other thing as well. Like, it's a really great marketing tool to go, when you listen to music, you go, in your mind's eye, imagine the person doing this, and do this exercise with someone else. Imagine who this person is. What do they look like when they're performing this song? What do they look like? Who is this person? What are they wearing? What's their hair doing? What's their makeup doing? What are their clothes? What are their shoes? Never underestimate the power of the shoe. All of that shit. And from there, you can actually build your presented stage persona. And the amount that I'm sorry, I'm really struggling with this because it's kind of personal. The amount that you choose to bring into reality, like when you're talking with people, that's up to you. But this is something I question. And if you guys, this isn't about me, by the way. I don't want you to go, Carl, I think, blah, blah, blah. I want to know what you think about it for your persona. If this was you, and this was your little Zoom forum, broadcasting to your little audience, I'm only saying that because my audience is little compared to Buddha. How would you do it? Would you get done up? What would you do? Go, Julius. Let's go.
Hi. Yes, I kind of put on a costume. Is it pronounced like this? Like I dress up?
Your English is better than mine.
Of course.
It is.
No. And I dress up and try to be someone I'm not allowed to be in my everyday life, in my main job, where I have to be all serious and professional and stuff. And yeah, but deep in the core, it's more me than me during the week, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yes.
But if this was your Patreon, and Alex, I see your hand, I'm going to jump to you. If this was your Zoom, would you... Because I see your photos, and they're effective. And that's a good thing. They're very effective. And you're actually starting to build a really nice persona. If this was your Sunday morning or Sunday night where you are, would you do this done up more? How would you do it? How would you present you? Talking to your tribe, your family, throwing it onto your internet fucking social media bullshit. How would you do it? And Alex,
I'm a very emotional person, and I think I would attack more emotional problems or topics on my Zoom meetings and talk about everyday life, talk about psychological stuff, and talk about identity, sexual identities, stuff like this.
What about your face? Would you wear makeup? Would you? Because in your persona, when I see you, you look fantastic, and you're done up, and you look like you look like Xerxes. That's a compliment. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
How far between some fucking guy sitting here and some guy looking like Xerxes? Would you change what you're wearing right now? Or would you just... I'm talking about your image. I'm talking about what you look like. I'm talking about your dress choices for your Sunday Zoom. How do you present yourself on an everyday situation? As far as your audience are concerned. Go. Do you understand?
I'm not sure if I understand the question. I'm trying to answer from what I understand.
All right. So what I'm saying is that my persona is everything from a fucking hawk to all of this mad shit and crazy suits and lots of makeup that's running. That's when I'm doing a photo shoot, or when I do a blip vert, I wind that back a little bit, but I'm still that guy. But on these things, I'm just Carl on a Sunday morning. Because I'm easy.
Okay.
Oh, and I found out something incredible that no one gives a fuck about. But you know that song Stuck in the Middle with You? That was written by fucking Jerry Rafferty, who wrote Baker Street, which is possibly the greatest song in rock and roll. And you need to listen to Baker Street. Jesus Christ, it's such a good song. So anyway, I'm sorry. And that was very Carl, what just happened. So yeah, that's the question of what you're wearing. Because what you're wearing is a part of your persona. But my question is, in this digital age where this Zoom has now become a reality and a normality, and Tanner, I see your hand as well, give me a sec. How much between you, I've just come up from doing the dishes, literally I have, to you in performance mode, what you're wearing, eyeliner, eyeshadow, hair, t-shirt, fucking suits. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think so. And I'm not sure if I've completely figured this out yet, because I don't do such thing like Zoom conversations or having a Patreon meetup, because I simply don't have the audience yet.
Yes.
But if I were to imagine such a situation, I would say I would probably be wearing like a PVC corset right now, white contact lenses, and dye my beard with white color and stuff,
All right, cool.
and talk about stuff.
So you do it.
Yeah.
All right, now that's excellent. This is part of the question. Alex, I see your hand. Thank you very much for that. Alex, I want to throw it to you now.
Yes, I have problems finishing stuff, but if I would have something, my main goal would not to be famous, but to play gigs where afterwards the people come out of the venue and say, what the fuck was that? So I think leaving an impact is like my main goal, making people think and experience something that's out of the usual. I sometimes have trouble finding what my real message is and what I want to portray, because like I started out making music and I heard influences and thought, oh, I want to make music like, Then I realized it was a Skinny Puppy who actually just do this music, and then I got to an identity crisis because there is already a Skinny Puppy. And since then I've been like just searching what I want to do, and I've come closer to having something and gone away, and I think it's really difficult. And also I sometimes have trouble committing to my opinion, because I often feel like I'm not well informed enough to write political stuff, or sometimes if I do, my political lyrics sound like much more extreme than my own opinion is. But maybe that's just right, because I don't know. I think that's like the struggle. I want to crash and burn, but I'm a bit afraid to, and I try to push through that.
If anybody wants to talk, address what Alex said, Julius, go for it. Oh, and welcome, Brett. We're talking about promotion. Julius, the floor is yours.
Hi, Brett. Alex, I would say just keep on doing. One day you will find your direction, and even if what is coming out from your creative brain, like the lyrics you just mentioned, sound too extreme or too much, too far away from what you actually are inside, I think that's a good thing, actually, because art is extreme, and it's the extreme of your emotions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. No, just sometimes I am imagining maybe someone interpreting the wrong way and maybe doing something horrible or something like that, because like I sometimes feel I want to write about violence but not encourage it, and it's like really difficult, and I don't know.
Mark, if you want to jump in about what Alex is saying, please go for it. Otherwise, I will get to you.
Yeah, it was about what Alex was saying. I was gonna say, so I understand the fear of being misinterpreted and someone taking your message doing something that you don't agree with. But I think the important thing is one, people need to be able to take responsibility for their actions. You know, just because someone on a song tells you to kill the president, if you kill the president, it's still your fault. And the other thing is, even if you do say something and it comes out more extreme than you intend it to be, the way I see it, it's fine as long as you are willing to say, hey, what I said was misinterpreted. As long as you own up to what you say and you don't act like you didn't say that. That's what's important.
Yeah, Brett, jump on in. Also, remember you've got the little blue hand thing as well.
Oh, okay.
Jump in.
I was actually just going to say, so I hit violent topics all the time. It's one of those things that, for me, as an artist, I'm trying to get this stuff out of my brain. So I kind of look at it like it's a work of fiction, at least when it comes out of my brain and onto the soundtrack, whatever. Fiction can be whatever you want it to be. There's no harm in creating a fiction. And it can be a horrible, horrible story. The intent for me is always to create that story, not to encourage whatever some crazy nut is going to do, because I got no control of that. So I think in that regard, just be true to yourself. You know, if this is an emotion you're trying to get out, then, you know, get it out. You know, you can't stop crazy.
Thank you. Julius, I see your hand.
It's also a matter of the package. If you take Brett as an example, his project is called Demonade. Yes, and he sings about violence and hell and demon rage and stuff. And why not? He's called Demonade. So maybe you can do a similar thing.
Firstly, what everybody said here is so relevant, and this is you're going to get people are going to misunderstand what you say no matter what, especially in this political time that we're in. And Tanner, I'll throw back to you in a sec. Like, people want to be offended these days, and I won't go into it too much, but this is something that's really getting me down. As an artist, it's really getting me down that the Joker in the King's Court isn't allowed to say stuff anymore because people are getting offended. And I don't really want to go into that right now because I have some very fucking angry issues about that, which I put into songs. But you guys probably know what I think about that. Like, respect is very important, but so my advice is, you know, if you're having trouble with you know, do what Brett does. Say it from the perspective of a demon, or say it from the perspective of a character. And you know, dude, I just say go for it. You know, you can't be held back by how people are going to interpret it. Although there are some things where I will go, I probably can't say that. Man, and I'm saying that more and more now, and it's really fucking pissing me off. Like, I'm in my creative flow, when I'm writing lyrics, it's like, oh, I probably can't say that now. But you know,
Are you unable to say that because of where you're at musically? Like, would it impact your business model?
a bit, yeah. I am terrified of being cancelled. I'm fucking terrified. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Cancelled?
Yeah, cancel culture is when,
Like-
when you say something or do something that people go, wow, fuck Angelspit, they're gone, they're done.
Ah, okay.
And then before you know it, they'll stop playing your music, they'll start boycotting you. And you know, in some situations, I don't even want to get in it. Just don't want to get into it. Yeah, but yeah, because there's two sides to every coin. But sometimes there's a time when you just got to pick up an axe and you got to smash the fucking coin, and that's where I am now. And you know, I think that if something's really offensive, I'm going to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to say that. I'm not an irresponsible person. I'm not going to say something cruel towards children. I'm not going to say something evil towards animal or racist. I'm going to say you're full of shit. And I don't fucking care who you fucking vote for. You're full of shit. And I see a whole bunch of smiles because I know a whole bunch of people feel the same way. Put that self-opinionated, self-righteous, fucking, Karen attitude and go and feed the fucking poor. Go and help someone, you selfish cunt. Yeah. So that's what I think. So yeah, and if you have trouble putting that into lyrics, say it from the perspective of another person, or say it from the perspective.
Allow your alter ego to have some fun.
Yeah. So don't be afraid, because god damn it, you know, here we are. Oh, June's coming out. June's coming out. We're all so excited. Fear is the mind killer, and we're slaves to fear by the same fucking people who we're supposed to be politically aligned to. What the fuck? I'm sorry, did I just shoot my mouth off then? Yeah, I just say, pick up that hammer and go like Thor. Tanner, I see your blue hand. And baby, talk to me. What's going on?
So, what I wanted to share was that is like completely normal to be conscious of what you're putting out, because your message is important. Like, what kind of change do you want to be in the world? Personally, I've had lots of people get mad at me in the past for singing about me using witchcraft to punish evil people in the world. And people attempted to cancel me like 2 times. I actually am canceled in a scene I contributed to, and I'm proud of it. I'm canceled because I believe I said the right thing. I disagree with racism in the industry and double standards. Like, I do not agree with that. I believe everyone should be treated the same. So I was canceled, and I went and took that and used that for my message, even more in my music. You have to learn to use the tidal waves and surf them in life, because that just makes your art even better than what it was before. You put more meaning into it. I'm actually delighted with this whole cancel thing, because it really makes us realize, well, what am I speaking? What kind of message I want out there? Is my music truly a weapon? Can it be a weapon? Yeah, I want it to be a weapon. I want to offend people who think they can get away with anything and everything under the sun. I want people to get angry with me. I want them to make art. I want them to get revolutionary. And that's our duty as artists. We are to provoke. We are to stir up storms. So I think that this is a positive thing. I think we should not be scared of it, because if you really are saying something bad, for example, Kathy Griffin, everyone likes Kathy Griffin now. What she said was what she did was a valid thing. We were like, how the hell could Trump have been president? All the things he's saying. She got canceled. Well, now people still love her. People still support her. That's just part of being an artist. We're revolutionaries. Some of us may be against humanity. Some of us may be for humanity. But either way, it helps develop humanity.
Yeah. Good job. Excellent. Yeah, it's like, look, I'll just throw this out here because this is the part where the conversation is going to go away from promotion, and I'm okay with that. Look, so you say something, and someone from the left, I'm sorry I'm using these terms, someone from the left with left baggage is going to go, yeah, man, I know exactly what you're talking about. Meanwhile, someone from the right with right baggage is going to do the same thing. And I'm pretty open that politically, I'm hanging out with Gandhi. I am very liberal, very left on the compass. But I have ideas that are pretty fucking right wing, mainly financial. Give me a break, man. I was brought up in a fucking soul trading household. And a lot of the, you know, a lot of the things that come with being brought up in a right wing household, because they were, you know, I have come to terms with. I have overcome them. I have actually converted my parents in a lot of. My parents are no longer think racially, and they voted that gay people should get married in Australia. Yeah. So, you know, and that's the job of a child. It's also the job of an artist. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, no matter how pedantically you write your lyrics, because now I angst over fucking lyrics, making sure that I'm saying here that Hitler's not fucking cool and fascism is shit. And if you're fascism, if you're into fascism, you really need to fucking change your opinion. I've got to make sure that we're totally cool and clear on this. Every single fucking time, I will get a comment from someone going, yeah, it's so good to see someone sticking it to those lefties. And it's like, firstly, I don't want to stick it to anyone. I do. Actually, I want to stick it to everyone, but it's not... This person has misinterpreted what I'm trying to say. And so, you know, just like Tanner said, man, you just got to go with it. And go hard with it, with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, but isn't that misinterpretation okay?
I don't really want people misinterpreting my art to make them feel good about their art and make them feel good about... make them feel good about their perspective on something that when I'm really disagreeing with it and when I think that's not okay to think that thing. Our species has moved past that, and my song is not saying it's okay for you to go, yeah, those people shouldn't get married, or those people should be gerrymandered, you know?
Yeah.
So if I see something like that, I will correct them.
Yeah.
As politely as I can, which isn't very polite.
I just kind of look at it like if it were a painting instead, you know, and we see something different in the painting that either we like it or we don't. Take it more simplistically, right? It doesn't change what the art is. It doesn't change what the painting is. The painting is just the painting. You know, its intent is there for all to see. But I think the observer has the ultimate power of observation there, and I don't think you can control that. And I think that I think it's okay for it to be misinterpreted, but I don't see that as a bad thing, and that's why, you know, partly I like instrumentals, because then you take away that thing, you know, you take away the lyric, and then everybody is like, oh well, I either like it or I don't. It becomes a sonic painting. You add lyrics though, and people forget that it's still a sonic painting. So
Yeah.
I just kind of look at it like, you know, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I'm not going to be able to control the observer. So let them think what they want.
Oh, you know, yeah, for sure. But absolutely true, man. What you just said, totally warranted. But I can't, you know, if I see a comment where somebody is saying something that I drastically don't agree with, or they have totally misread the song, for example, Skinny Little Bitch, Jesus, the amount of heat I've got over that song. It's like, oh, what are you, fat shaming?
One of my favorites.
Thanks. You know, and then they assume it's about a girl. You know, all sorts of funny things. When they're not reading the overarching idea where it's, you are this way because you got this way so people would accept you. And it doesn't matter what, if you're male or female or anything, it's that you people told you bullshit and you listened to it so fucking passionately that you changed the way you look, you changed your diet, you fucking, you know, maybe I should have called it stupid fucking cunt, because that's more, you know, I see
Part 2.
yeah. Oh, well, it'd be part 20 in my case. Julius, Tanner, I saw your hand, but it's gone away. Julius, I see your hand.
The question is, do you want to change the lyrics or the title of the song? Do you really want to change it in such a way that everybody understands it? Is it really everybody you want to appeal to? I don't think so. And I think it's a good thing to awake provocation with your music and speak to a certain portion of people.
I totally agree. And anybody else is just welcome to jump in there. In answer to your question, no, I don't. I do want to.
I would.
Sorry, Tanner, go ahead.
So I think I've learned over the years is like, not you two, but to both parties, the ones that agree with me and then the ones that don't agree with me. Fuck you both. I'm mad. Aren't you mad too? Do something. Not to me, but you know, the world. And I think that's always kept me safe from my own doubts, my own fear. You know, when people are telling me, oh, I like your art, and they're completely misinterpreting it, I'm like, fuck you both. You don't know. I'm mad. Aren't you mad too? Do something. I'm done speaking.
Thoroughly agree. You're on a roll today, Tanner. It's good. Alex, I see your lyric. I see your hand.
Yeah, my question to you is, do you research your lyrics? I think maybe this doesn't apply as much to you because I think most of your lyrics are from personal experience. But for example, I was thinking about writing a song about the first use of chemical weapons or something. And I'm a bit afraid to fucking it up because I'm not well versed in history. But for some reason, I just can't sit down and go through history books. So I don't know where to go.
Research it. Absolutely research. I actually research every song I do. I'll research something about it, so that anything in it, and you know, even if it's just observation, but you know, when you're talking about chemical weapons and all of that sort of stuff, research it, because you might end up finding something that you didn't know, and you might actually go, whoa, this is uncomfortable. History is very uncomfortable, and that's exciting, you know, when it makes you uncomfortable, because then you have to go, oh, how do I deal with this thing? So I hope that answers this question. There is actually one more thing I want to say just before I jump to Julius. Unless, Julius, you want to talk to Alex about what he was just talking about. Go. Take it.
Yes. Alex, I think I know what you mean when you say you don't want to research or you just can't sit down to do it. I hate researching. Speaking as an author, maybe you can view the research kind of as a collection of inspiration, not as a gathering of facts, but as a gathering of inspiration. Maybe it helps.
Yeah. Dude, no, research is awesome, because like research becomes, if it doesn't make it into the lyrics, it becomes artwork. It becomes all of this stuff. And you might be researching something and it might suggest sound to you. Like, oh, they use these big fucking things, and you might go, I want a big fucking thing. I want to bang something. I want to go out there and hit something with a hammer and record it. Yeah, that's what's really cool about research. That, you know, you're going to learn, you're going to throw, and a lot of this research might not make it in, just like what Julia said, but it inspires, and it's the flame behind it. I just want to really quickly mention, you know, I don't know how you guys are. I'm angry. And, you know, I'm really pedantic about these sessions that I don't want to go into life stuff too much because I'm not trained to deal with it. And there's been times in the past where shit's come up here where it's like, fuck, we have to deal with this. But I am so mad. And I am angry about what's happened in the last 12 months. I'm angry about what's happening now. I'm angry about what's been happening in the last fucking 4 years and 400 years in the United States. I'm fucking angry. And I haven't gotten into Australia, but this is why it's so important. And as an artist, is that you are funneling this. You're funneling this into your art, and it's hitting your lyrics and it's hitting your music, and it's really interesting that I'm increasingly trying to write music because I now start with lyrics. I never used to do that. I used to start with the music and sounds and shit. Now I've gone to music. I don't know, but it's really interesting how I am trying to create the music that matches the lyrics, and that matches either the aggression of the lyrics, or the beauty, whatever the lyrics. Usually they're pretty fucking angry, but yeah, it's really interesting. It's kind of exciting that I'm always trying to focus this. They say music's cheaper than therapy, but obviously they don't have a fucking gear addiction. It's so important just to go in there. And ironically, when you're working on a song, I don't think the angriest I've been in my whole life is when I'm working on a song and it doesn't work, and I hate myself. Like, I am a useless fucking piece of shit, and on it goes. And that's why I've said this before, and stop me if I'm ranting, but I have this thing called pre-6 where, whenever I work on something, I think I talked to you about this, Brett. Whenever I work on something, it becomes a new draft. And if it's before draft 6, it's going to be shit. And I've heard some of your demos before. Some people have put them on the Discord, and I've heard, and it's like, your demo's actually really good. My demos are awful. They're terrible. Don't look at me like that, Julius, my demos are fucking shit. I will never play a pre-6 demo to someone because they're terrible. And I've just come to the thing now that if it's before draft 6, it's going to suck, and that's it. It's going to fucking suck, and just keep going ahead, keep moving ahead. So I'm pulling that anger and this anger. We're all very angsty, aren't we?
People just are angry in general now.
Yeah.
I think it's partly due to there's just more people now too.
And there's also more places for people to vent their frustration and to pick a fight. Like, I put a thing on Facebook recently about your freedom versus my health. Like, at what point does your freedom impinge with my health? And I didn't say wearing a mask or anything like that. It was just an open question, and it was really interesting to see people's talk about, I want to talk about gay marriage, I want to talk about this, you've provided an empty train for me on fire, careering towards a mountain of garbage, and I am going to put my baggage into that train. And it was really, not that I'm saying anything's garbage, these are all really important points, but it was really interesting to see there's a rainbow of anger. Like, it's really interesting that there's, and another thing I love doing is like, okay, this person said this, where is this person from? What's the background? Why would they be all over the world? Everyone's so fucking mad. But
a certain amount of that's just become background noise now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of ties in beautifully to how we were saying before about how, the whole thing about publicity and promotion is pushing through that background noise. And it's so hard to not get caught up in that. It's real fucking hard. I had something else I wanted to talk about, but I forgot. If anybody else has another question or something, please.
I'll say that and go ahead.
Eric, come on, jump in.
I had a question earlier. I know Julia specifically was talking about it with video packages. I was just curious, like, what video editing software does anybody use who makes their own trailers or videos or anything? If there's anything anybody can recommend. That's like, I'm not very good at promotion to begin with, and video is definitely not my strong point.
I can go. Julius, go.
Sorry. I can recommend Magic's Video Deluxe Plus. It costs about 70 euros. It's probably like $85 or something. And I started with Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah.
It's okay for the beginning too. I mean, why not? But I use Magic's now, and I think it's pretty good for the price. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to use Windows Media or the Video Maker back in the day, but you can't get that anymore, and it's done. So, yeah.
Are you Mac or PC?
PC.
I use Sony Vegas.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I use Sony Vegas. It's it's called Movie Maker Premiere or Pro or something. It's got a really dumb name.
Magic's.
Is that it?
Magic's is now what Vegas was.
Yes, you're right. It is.
Okay.
It's now Magic's. Are we using the same software?
Probably.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Vince.
pretty much. Yours is just not newest version, probably.
I'm just not one of the cool kids. But it's really simple. And there's a whole bunch of really, because I don't know that shit. Like, I've always wanted to use Premiere or, what the really cool kids use. But I'm not cool enough because I just don't understand that shit. It's
likewise.
It's like Cubase. You can actually edit on Cubase.
Oh.
Yeah. You can edit video on, and I use a really shitty old one. Actually, on a lot of music software, you can edit video.
Yeah, but I think just one lane, you can't have multiple video feeds.
I think you're right. Alex, you're right. So, check out Magic's or Vegas or whatever the hell it's called now.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Really worth the money too. It's worth buying that software because you're going to use it a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. That was too easy. Somebody else asked me a question. I see Julius's hand.
Hi. I got a tiny technical problem. Maybe somebody can help me with that. My new music video was released on MTV TV on Twitch, and I heard it playing on Twitch, and the sound, it was so fucking compressed. I was like, I wanted to cry, literally. Like, what did I do wrong? It sounds so awful on Twitch. I put so many hours into this masters, and now it sounds like shit. What did I do wrong? Carl.
Okay. Firstly, get someone else to master it.
I know.
And I've got a few people. Reza comes to mind instantly. And I should try and get his details to you. Yeah. Reza is really good. I am a shit mastering engineer because mastering is a different kettle of fish it's a different monster to mixing. And it's not pulling up isotope or whatever and going tweak. You can't do that. You have to get a pro, get a human to do it. That's my thoughts on it. And I pay stupid money. I get a guy in Australia to do it, and he is horrendously expensive and worth every fucking cent, because you can play Angelspit next to 9 Inch Nails and we stand up. We will hold our ground with 9 Inch Nails, because this guy is, I like the mixing. My mixing doesn't compare at all. Actually, this guy is such a good mastering engineer, he makes me sound good. But he's bloody expensive.
Does he just do mastering, or does he do like remixing? I know I was looking at Ken Hyatt Marshall, I think it is. Iwatt. That's it.
Anyway. I don't know. My guy won't. I don't think he does. Because my guy just focuses on the mastering, but other people will do mixing and mastering. And I know a lot of people who'll do that. I'm sorry, excuse me, yawning. A lot of people will do mixing and mastering, like they'll do a package deal. Eric, I see your hand. Unless go.
Julius, if you're doing your own mastering, what's your decibel level of what you're mastering at?
The decibel level, I do 2 different masters. I do one for CD loudness, which I put on Bandcamp, and it's I leave 0.4 dB headroom, and for the streaming master I have, I think, 1 dB headroom, and the loudness is about, what was it, 13 LUFS.
Okay. When you go into the process of getting it as loud as possible, do you have it at like a -6 decibels, maybe going up before you actually boost it to where your top level is?
Can you repeat the question?
So like,
sorry,
when you're looking through when you're going into your final mastering stage and you're trying to get it as loud as possible up to that, say, -0.4 decibel level, it's best to have, if you don't, like a floor of like -6 decibels below compress is going to be. And then on every different platform, their loudness factor is different. So like if you master something for YouTube or Apple or Google, they all have their own space that you have to, it's all like really weird. But if you give yourself a lower floor before boosting it to the top, it'll kind of flatten for most of them and maybe sound better if you're mixing or mastering too high before going into it.
So you're saying I have to have like a threshold of -6 dB before I put it into the final compressor or limiter. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Try to mix lower. Like instead of trying to, like if you're having balance issues when you're mixing, instead of putting stuff up, put stuff down to balance it lower. So that when you go into your mastering part, you'll boost everything equally instead of having some, like going to a floor already, you'll have a bigger headroom to use.
Yeah.
Especially if you, like Carl was saying, even if you send it away to get mastered, the people mastering your track are gonna want it lower as well. If you have it going from like, if you already have it at -1, that gives them no headroom to do anything with. It's gonna be compressed and flat.
Okay.
If that makes
sense. Thank you.
Tanner, I see your hand, but very, very quickly, I will say, totally agree with Eric. When I mix my stuff finally, it goes to -6 is the loudest peak. So the needle's jumping around about -12 and it peaks at -6. Just like Eric said, it's giving everything more to bite into. Let the compressors do their job, because compressors want to see bandwidth. And that goes for as well, because a lot of people will, submix their drums and submix all of this stuff. Make sure that stuff isn't like hot. Put it at -6, so that if you do have a compressor on, a bus within your mix. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm drinking coffee like a crazy man. And I'm belching. It's disgusting. Make that gives the compressor stuff to work into. I will shut up now, and I'm gonna throw it to something amazing from Tanner.
You also forget to mention that master from Australia got you into Hot Topic, where you were sold alongside 9 Inch Nails, and Chevelle, Korn, Marilyn Manson, all those bands that we hear on the radio. Crank House is right by next to them.
Thank you. That was actually Patrick from Dancing Ferret. But nevertheless, he sonically delivered. And I've used David Walker from Stepford Audio Mastering in Melbourne on every single Angelspit album except one. And you'll notice that Reeza's, I used Reeza on Cult of Fake because Reeza's more dance orientated, and Reeza is in the he's in the chat there.
Yeah.
And Reeza's bloody good.
The Hideous and Perfect was sold alongside 9 Inch Nails and all those other bands too.
Woo! Thank you, Tanner. Yeah. Yeah. Should I do more heavy stuff? I don't know. Okay, quick. Somebody ask a question.
Okay, since we are here, maybe this goes more to the others, but suppose you had a long day of work and you want to do some music, but you're exhausted. Do you have something to hype you up or maybe clear your head? Do you have any tips? Because I have sometimes this exact problem.
Yes. 1. Do not, under any circumstances, watch YouTube or anything at all. The second you watch TV is the second you finish your day. It sucks your energy out of you. It's bad. 2. Go for a walk. Even if it's around the block or something small, do it. Drink water, not alcohol, because alcohol puts you to sleep. Water kind of cleanses you. You don't really need coffee, but you know, maybe you might want to do that. And if you want to eat a salad. Everything I said to you was just so healthy. So get in a limousine with a whole bunch of hot bitches, boys or girls, it doesn't matter. Do a plate load of Coke and watch your favorite show.
Right?
Yeah. No, I was kidding just then. Yeah, do that.
I can't do music anyway if I'm drunk, because if I have one MIDI problem, it's gone. It's over. I can't solve it.
That's really interesting that, and if somebody wants to, I see Julius's hand.
Yes.
The floor's yours.
Maybe try listening to music, to music that inspires you while you are on your way home. And as soon as you are home, you are so hyped up, you just want to make music all along.
That's really good.
Another option, I know your problem exactly. I got a very exhausting job as well. And yeah, I mostly work on the weekends then. Don't know if that is an option for you.
2 things, if I can jump in. 1, when you're listening to that music, perhaps listen to a demo version of a track that you're about to work on, and that will get your brain started. Secondly, you might not be a night person. I'm not. I'm a morning person. It might be better for you to get up at 4 a.m. and put in 4 solid hours and then log off. My brain works way better in the morning. Formulating ideas, like actually putting it together. Nighttime, the random ideas come and I just write them down. But in the mornings, I literally get up at 4 a.m. Actually, it's been 3 recently. But yeah, you might be a morning person. Because everybody thinks that artists are late night people. Not necessarily.
I am.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Anyway, somebody else. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm a night person who can't sleep at day, so I have to go to bed at some point. But that's my trouble. I can't, yeah.
And if walking's too hard, do push-ups, do sit-ups, anything to get blood and oxygen running through your body.
I'll do a lot of I'll do a lot of my rough mixes at night. Usually when I'm not in the best state of mind, because at that point, you know, I'm really just kind of trying to get things leveled out. I'm not seeking perfection at that point. And on more than one occasion, I've been in that process, just listening to it over and over and over again, which is also not recommended. And yeah, just fall asleep in my chair. And then pick up and go with it the next day and be like, okay, well, I like this and this and this. Scrap the rest of it, keep going. For me, the chaos kind of works like that. I mean,
that's really interesting because, like, it's curious how you output different things at different hours, and you also like your brain also thinks differently when you're drunk and when you're sober, obviously. And I don't know, man. I'm just at a point where I just go, I try and do everything sober just because when I do music that's drunk, it's like, it's crap. It's fun, but it's crap. You know, it doesn't have this longevity to it. But no, Brent, it's really interesting what you say about how the darkness, the weirdness happens at night. Morning's more, you know, like that. But so I don't actually make ideas in the morning. I just lay them down. So all the ideas have already happened. All the madness and craziness, it's already been documented throughout the day.
I'll also say that work, like, you know, I mean, I work 8 to 5, and that becomes a massive source of fuel for the 7 to 12 when I'm in the studio.
I see 2 hands. Julius, then Diana.
I just wanted to say that certain stages of creation are actually very good to do while being intoxicated. Like, if I brainstorm for a song or I got an idea for a song and try to make something out of it, a little bit of alcohol actually it's just for throwing shit on the canvas and stuff. And afterwards, when it comes to the more rational tasks, it's better to be clean.
Cool. Diana, the floor is yours. Thank you, Julius.
I really don't like schedules. I don't like regulated things, but I've said that before, making an appointment with myself forces me to get into the mindset I need to be. Like, this is when I'm going to do this. I'm not going to cancel on myself. So I've actually, like, in an appointment book, made an appointment with myself that this is when this is going to get done.
Yeah. I think, Alex, thanks for joining us. I want to just reiterate on that and just say quickly before Alex leaves, a timetable. And if you set up a timetable, and if you're the sort of person like I am, that is, if it's in a timetable, oh, Diana, exactly what she just said, you got to do it. And if you timetable 3 nights a week or something, like, that would be amazing. Yeah. I have another blipvert on church that might be interesting to you. If you do a search on Angelspit blipvert church, it might help.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm super bad with timetables and also with writing drunk. But yeah, and I think it was Mark who was leaving.
Mark, I love you. Goodbye. He's gone. Fuck that guy. You're bad with timetables?
Absolutely, I try to make them and I never stick to them.
Wow.
I just don't realize that the time passes and.
I get that way as well. It can work counterproductively with me if I feel like I'm trying to be creative on a path, and I got too strict of a timetable. It'll work against me.
Huh. Well, okay. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, now this is important because like this is, I'm putting a differentiation between 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration, and that inspiration comes for me. I can't timetable that; it just happens when an idea comes into my head. That's that's why I carry these frickin' things with me everywhere. That I write them down. But when it comes to the act of actually putting them down and formulating them into songs, which is, sure, there's a lot of creativity in that for me personally, but there's a lot of logic in that as well. Like, that's when I go into producer hat mode. I timetable that. I do that in the mornings because that's when my brain works. However, I will say that, after, specifically you, Brett, talking about your creative, the way you work, I'm increasingly trying to challenge myself to go, I want to still try and bring as much chaos into that as I can, because God told me to do it. The devil told me to do it. The demon told me to do it.
Back to research again,
Yeah.
and that's like, like today before jumping in here, I watched Demon House on I want to say it was on Prime. Pretty good. About this dude, he buys this house in Indiana that's possessed by the Baphomet or something. I don't know. But all that kind of stuff adds to the lore, and it adds to that fuel that I'm driving.
Yeah. But did the Baphomet actually, did they go into escrow? Did they, put anything at all into that? Are they paying rent or?
He straight up bought the house, and like everybody who went in there got fucked up.
Yeah, it's like, dude, look, Prince of Darkness, you're not paying rent. And when, let's look at the Satanic Bible really closely, and it basically says, don't be a dick. You don't just crash someone's house. Pay rent. If you want to possess my friends, man, sure. Do all harm none, man. That's your thing. You do your thing. You do Lucifer. But you gotta pay your rent. And not blood. I'm talking, virgins, I'm talking money.
Well, whatever was in this house was definitely encouraged more by blood.
Wow.
Yeah, no, man, people got fucked up for real. Like one dude went in there, was only in there for like a couple of hours, and then like 3 days later, all of his organs shut down at the same time.
I went on tour with a guy, and every hair on his body fell out. It was because of a medication that he was allergic to, but he it had nothing to do with demons. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but because we're getting close to the end, and if somebody has something interesting, it's time for a tour story. It was actually the Lords of Acid tour, which is a really good tour, and I'll say that the Lords of Acid are completely drug-free.
Yeah.
Because they did enough drugs for everybody else. I have so many funny stories on that tour. Like, somebody on that tour hurt themselves as they did. They were working, and they were on the job, they were sober, but they hurt themselves. They hurt themselves pretty bad. And the drummer at the time was actually a GP, a general practitioner, doctor. And we were in Cleveland, Cincinnati. If anything weird's going to happen, it's either going to be Las Vegas or Cincinnati. Anyway, so the doctor goes out to the front of the tour bus, and by now people were lining up to get into the show. And he goes, because it's Lords of Acid, he said, look, one of the crew have hurt themselves. We need some painkillers. Does anybody have some? And he rattled off a bunch of painkillers. And I was standing there, and I literally saw he was showered. And they were bouncing off his face. Like, people were throwing pills at him because it was Lords of Acid. But I had a story, and I forgot what... Oh, yeah. So I won't mention who this person was. But he was from Belgium, and he was the funniest guy. Loved his set. Oh, my God. And he was a really funny guy. And we decided we wanted to play this because there's a game called, slippery pig, where you get a pig and you cover it in grease and you try and catch the pig. But you can't, because and pigs are fine with it. You know, you don't be cruel to the pig, because they're just running around and you grab them and they slip out like a little bar of soap. So we were going to cover this guy in, and there were a few actual parties where we could have done that. Cover him in oil and try to tackle him. And he was all about it. And we were going to call it Slippery, insert his name here, but I won't mention his name. But he would have gone, you know, like a bar of soap. It would have gone like that. But we didn't. And I wish we did. Touring is so much fun. Unless anybody has any other questions, we're all going to mosey on over to Twitch, MTV TV, and the same time next week, although it might be 10 o'clock next week. I'm getting my shots on Friday, so hopefully I won't be too fucked up. Yeah,
Second one?
Second
First.
one.
I got mine.
Got them both?
Yep.
Wow.
My wife had a harder time with it than I did, especially on the second round. And I got the Moderna one. First round felt like Tyson punched me in the arm.
Really?
Yeah, it hurt. The second one wasn't as bad on the pain for me. It burned a little more. And but my wife, actually, she came down ill like within hours and stayed that way for a couple days.
Okay. Well, I'll keep everyone posted, because we're getting the shot on Friday. But hopefully, because we're getting Pfizer. I always say that wrong. Anyway, whatever. And I know that because Uncle Joe Biden said we don't have to wear a mask after it, I'm going to keep wearing my mask, because, you know, I want to make people feel confident, you know, thinking about the tribe. So, you know, I hope today has been positive. And thank you, everybody, especially you, Tanner. It's always good when you chime in. You know, I want us all to work at focusing this anger and turning it into something positive and beautiful, even if it is a sledgehammer. And use that sledgehammer to make some music, because the world really needs it. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, man.
You rock.
And thank you. And I think your answers